Hey, welcome back to the SCP Foundation Wiki. It's time to catch up from 300 onward. I know that seems kind of like vaguely weird. It's like two ways. One way it feels like it should be further. The other way it's like, what the hell? We've come this far? Oh my god. Yeah, let's jump back into the wiki. You know, spooky, scary warning and whatnot, and yeah. Here's the front page. As always, I play some music. I like to check out a random one. And let's see, it's Shark. You have a doppelganger. This would usually shock you if you were anyone else. No, shit. Yeah. I don't know what's up with 8 Mile. Is this like the meme? Adam Sandler? Or, no. Is it? I thought it was Eminem for a second. Herman Fuller can shove it up my ass. Shove it up his ass. I am Herman Fuller. Okay. Yeah, I see Sarkic. Clown breeding 101. Yeah, I'm good. So, for whatever reason today, I was thinking of Marshall, Carter, and Dark. Maybe we'll get something related to that. Anyway, here's the numbered article I get random generated to start it off. Let's see what that is. 3705. Okay. Huh. I didn't even know there was a neutralized category. Odd. Okay. Item number 3705, object class neutralized. Special containment procedures. 3705's cape and the cassette tapes found at the site of 3705's neutralization are to be contained in standard containment lockers. Description: 3705 was an approximately 1.8 meter tall animate scarecrow composed of wood and straw. 3705 was outfitted with a straw hat, a white shirt, and a green floral print cape worn around its neck. 3705 possessed multiple scorch marks on its body and clothing, and 3705's clothing was torn in various locations. 3705 was capable of sight and hearing despite being possessed. 3705 was capable of sight and hearing despite having possessed no discernible organs or mechanisms that enabled these senses. 8 arachnoid legs composed of wood were attached to 3705's torso, measuring approximately 1.25 meters. Each of 3705's legs have joints that appear to have been created via infliction of damage to each leg, as each leg appeared to have been forcefully bent from a previously straight structure into its joints. Yeah. Each of 3705's legs have joints that appear to have been created via infliction of damage to each leg, as each leg appeared to have been forcefully bent from a previously straight structure into its jointed structure. At the end of each leg was a hole of unknown depth. 3705 was capable of expelling water from each of these holes. It is unknown how the water 3705 expelled was acquired. It is unknown how the water 3705 expelled was acquired. On 3/27/2004, 3705 was discovered by the Foundation when 3705's appearance was reported at a forest fire located at Redacted by undercover operatives working as a... On 3/27/2004, 3705 was discovered by the Foundation when 3705's appearance was reported at a forest fire located at Redacted by undercover operatives working as helicopter pilots for local news stations. MTF Epsilon 14, out of the frying pan, was deployed to contain 3705. 3705 ignited and was destroyed before MTF Epsilon 14 reached 3705's location. During further inspection after the fire was extinguished, That just sounded weird. I don't know. During further inspection after the fire was extinguished, a cardboard box was found at the area of 3705's neutralization. Within the box were 17 video cassette tapes and the cape worn by 3705. The cassette tapes contained... Okay. The cassette tapes contained video showing footage of various events involving 3705. A title for each cassette tape was written on a piece of masking tape attached to each cassette tape. Show cassette tape content. It's a table, title, event, notes. Title 1, A Hero's Beginnings. Event, 3705 approaches and waters a sunlit field of soil by expelling water from its legs. Note, 3705 is not wearing its cape. Burn marks are not present on 3705. And holes are not present on 3705's clothing. Huh? This feels like, this is like a, I want to say tall tale, this is like a winding trail story. To a gardener's duties. The setting is identical to that of 1. 3705 faces toward the field motionless. A northern cardinal, Cardinalis, descends from above and attempts to eat a seed beneath the soil. 3705 approaches the northern cardinal and it flies away from 3705. 3. The gardener's triumph. The setting is identical to that of 1 and 2. Fully grown sunflowers, Helianthus annus, are present within the field of soil. 3705 waters them. 4. A gardener's woe. The setting is identical to that of 1, 2, and 3. Strong wind and rain are present. All of the sunflowers are uprooted by the wind. 3705 approaches the field from off-screen. 3705 inspects the scene before kneeling. It is believed that this is an expression of sorrow. 5. A hero's atonement. 3705 waters a field of soil in a different location than 1, 2... 3705 waters a field of soil in a different location than in 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3705 begins wearing its cape. 6. A hero's duties. The setting is identical to that of 5. Strong wind and rain, similar to the wind and rain in 4, are present. Marigolds, Calendula officinalis, are growing within the field. 3705 kneels over the marigolds furthest towards the direction the wind is blowing from. 7. A hero's triumph. The setting is identical to that of 5 and 6. 3705 is in the same position as it was in 6. 3705 leaves its position to inspect the field. No marigolds are in a considerably worse condition than they were in 6. 8. A hero's help. 3705 approaches 7 potted tulips, Tulipa gesneriana. Okay. 3705 approaches 7 potted tulips, Tulipa gesneriana, on the grass overshadowed by a nearby tree. 3705 carries each pot away from the shade of the tree to a sunlit area on the grass. 9. A hero's protection. The setting is identical to that of 8. A branch on the tree in 8 detaches from the tree and falls toward the A branch on the tree in 8 detaches from the tree and falls towards the potted tulips. 3705 appears from off-screen and strikes the falling branch with its legs, causing the branch to land away from the tulips. 10. A hero's condolences. 3705 walks past the front of the house and enters the backyard of the house. 3705 walks past the front of a house and enters the backyard of the house. Within the backyard is a garden containing Angeliona angustifolia, Cosmos bipinnatus, and snapdragons, Anterinum Majus, each of which shows signs of dilapidation. 3705 waters the garden. Note: analysis of the house indicates it was inhabited by Terrence Marley, who passed away on 3/6/2004 at the age of 62. 11. A hero's medal. The setting is identical to that of 10. 3705 monitors the garden. 6 Canada geese, Bronta canadensis, approach the garden from off-screen. 3705 approaches the geese to ward them off. The geese do not leave. 3705 moves closer to the geese, at which point the geese begin honking and fly towards 3705. The geese land upon and begin pecking at 3705. A hero's reward. The setting is identical to that of 10 and 11. 3705 is laying upon the ground. 3705 stands up and inspects the garden. All plants are in the same condition they were in 11. Note: holes are now present on 3705's clothing. 13. A hero's gesture. A male child and a female child water a garden of pasture roses, Rosa Carolina, using water cans. A male child and a female child water a garden of pasture roses, Rosa Carolina, using watering cans. Both children expend their can's supply of water, place their can on the ground, and walk off screen. 3705 approaches the cans and refills them. I am Groot. 14. A hero's life. 3705 enters a burning house through its open patio door. 3705 enters a dining room and maneuvers past burning furniture to reach a staircase. 3705 ascends the staircase, parts of its body and clothes igniting as it does. As 3705 reaches the top of the staircase, it expels highly pressurized water itself to douse the flames on its body and clothing. 3705 enters what appears to be a child's bedroom, almost completely engulfed in flames. 3705 begins to approach a potted carnation, Dianthus caryophyllus, placed upon a windowsill facing the entrance to the room. As 3705 moves towards it, a burning ceiling fan falls from the ceiling and lands in front of 3705. As 3705 steps backwards, a large portion of the ceiling collapses. A part of the collapsed ceiling lands on the carnation, bringing it to the floor. 3705 is unharmed by the collapse of the ceiling, and climbs over the wreckage of the ceiling and begins digging through it. 3705 continues digging until the siren of a fire truck is heard. 3705 leaves the room. Burn marks are present on 3705 after 3705 reaches the top of the staircase. Screw Plant Man. Screw Plant Man, we got Ant-Man. No, screw Ant-Man, we got Plant Man. What the fuck? Yeah, I reversed it in my mind. Screw Ant-Man, we got Plant Man. 15. A Gardener's Requiem. 3705 stands in the front of the house in 14, the fire now extinguished. Placed in the grass in front of 3705 is a cross constructed out of twigs. The twigs are bound to each other by a sunflower, Helianthus annus, grown near the cross, wrapping around the two twigs. Note: 3705 is no longer wearing its cape. 16. A Gardener's Choice. 3705 walks up a hill. Smoke billows in the distance to the right of 3705. 3705 turns to the right and sees a forest fire. 17. A Hero's Fervor. This tape depicts the events leading up to and during 3705's neutralization. 3705 runs through the burning forest. During this time, the Foundation is alerted to 3705 presence, and MTF Epsilon 14 is deployed and sent to the forest. 3705 reaches an area completely engulfed in flames. 3705 expels highly pressurized water into the fire, creating an opening in the fire. 3705 continues running through the opening, extinguishing any fire that comes near. 3705 arrives at a large field of early dog violets. Viola Reichenbachiana, that the fire has not reached. Sorry, I accidentally hit my desk. 3705 quickly waters the violets. As 3705 finishes watering the violets, the fire reaches the field. The field is quickly engulfed in flames. Due to unknown reasons, the violets are not visibly damaged by the fire. 3705 moves to the middle of the field and attempts to fend off the fire by expelling highly pressurized water into it, but fails to extinguish the fire. 3705 ignites and is completely engulfed in flames. 3705 remains motionless as it burns. The view of 3705 is obscured by flames as the video ends. Note: 3705 is wearing its cape throughout the video. The field of violets in the video disappeared following 3705's neutralization. The cause of its disappearance has not been determined as... The cause of its disappearance has not been determined. The cause of its disappearance has been determined as not due to the fire, as the area in which the violets existed showed no signs of fire-related damage. Bruh. The fire was surrounding, and he, like, fairy warped out of there. He used the fairy ring. The following message was found written on the inside of the cape with black ink. Show message. You have the tapes that show this guardian's cause. Not all heroes wear capes, but this one does. Are we cool yet? This links to Are We Cool Yet hub. Was this like superheroes in the Foundation? SCP Foundation superheroes? Arachnid, Are We Cool Yet? Autonomous, liquid, neutralized. Huh? Are We Cool Yet hub? An artistic movement existing on the fringes of the international avant-garde, with roots in the early surrealist art movements of the late 19th and early 20th century and the growing scientific understanding and study of the anomalous that began to develop during that time. You've got my attention. Artists in any place or time, the largest and most visible gathering of AWCY ? Artists in any time, and any place or time is Somme no Devenus Magnifique. A grand exhibition held every 10 years since 1874, at which those in the know can gather to view and scrutinize a selection of some of the finest works and anomalous art produced over the previous decade. So, like in a year, another one of these is gonna happen. Birth of the Cool. Huh? Holy shit. Okay. Further research. Oh my god. Ugh. Baby's first guide to Euclid class anomalies and other questionable documents recovered from the hard drive of Dr. Blank Blank. Okay. Documented accounts. Oh my fucking god, what? Orgy 5 Council 9 XXXK end of virginity scenario. Some of this has gotta be like fucking joke. Bong rip tendency. Yeah, some of these have gotta be jokes. Totally not porn. Okay. Wait, what was this one? Nile Nile. Okay. So some of it's porn and some of it's jokes. I don't know. Maybe some of it's not. Yeah, I don't know. Some of these might be weird. Like, what the fuck? Nothing of importance happens in this one. Just skip it. Now you've got my attention. Now you got my full attention. The fuck is this? Nothing of importance happens in this one. Cool War 2, Ruiz from your grave. Okay, Ruiz. Take a deep breath. You're a professional artist. Try improvising. Take sure to be cool. What? I've heard he died at least twice. Okay, well, very cool, Ruiz. I'll see you later whenever I read that eventually. Alright, 301. Item number 301, Object Class Euclid. Special containment procedures 301 is to be kept in a secure electromagnetically sealed bunker buried under at least 10 meters of earth to conceal its location. It's alright. The bunker is to be staffed by no fewer than 4 level 3 security personnel at all times, in order to secure the site and to maintain automated security measures. The perimeter of the bunker is to be lined with a chain-link fence with official warnings to deter intruders. Due to the remote location of 301, additional security is not required. During experimentation, all research staff and equipment must maintain a minimum distance of at least 3 meters from the projected edge of 301. In the event of a containment breach, on-site personnel with the proper security clearance are authorized to implement Emergency Protocol C-301. All possible entrances to the bunker will automatically seal themselves and remain sealed indefinitely. Emergency Protocol C-301 can only be countermanded by an O5 level command. Okay, well, lore context, we're like viewing from an O5 perspective. So, if something went wrong, this would be, we're learning for that, diffusal scenario. Whatever goes past O5 as well, this would be good training if you never learned, somehow. Description: 301 is an anomalous region roughly 3 meters in diameter, located in the middle of blank National Park. Whenever physical matter enters 301, it temporarily disappears from existence. That must spell out Yellowstone. Following a delay of variable length, the matter that had entered 301 will appear in another location. The duration of this time delay is variable, with a minimum length of double blank seconds and a maximum length of triple blank minutes. The exact destination appears to be a random vertex point on a geodesic grid overlaying the Earth's surface. Each leg of this pattern is approximately 20 kilometers long, resulting in sextuple blank possible destination points. Each leg of this pattern is approximately 20 kilometers long, resulting in sextuple possible destination points. Oh my fucking god. That's some high level math, okay? I mean, it's interesting. It's not like super math, but it's like random vertex point on a geodesic grid overlaying the Earth's surface, with each leg of the pattern 20 kilometers long, resulting in, count that on your fingers, people, nearly 1 million combinations maximally. Holy fuck. Welcome to the before old school RuneScape. Welcome to the random event. The sandwich lady, you just ignore her and she smacks you on the back of the head. There you go, you're in the wilderness, you just lost all your equipment. Or you just got teleported to God knows where. Who the fuck knows where you are now? The Foundation, they're not even gonna be able to find you. The sandwich lady's too powerful. That's gotta be Yellowstone, right? Yellowstone. Yellowstone. I don't know. The prevailing model of 301's working is that The prevailing model of 301's workings is that teleportation occurs by accessing a coterminous interspatial region lying in a frame of reference attached to the center of Earth. 301 is invisible to the naked eye, but is detectable through other spectra. 301 also passively emits electromagnetic energy. While not harmful to living organisms, it does interfere with improperly shielded electronics, and may explain why the native fauna does not venture near 301. Is that supposed to be conterminous? That's coterminous, but I mean, that makes sense. Double. Yeah, coterminous. Okay. I just know conterminous is a thing as well. Through experimentation, it has been discovered that 301 can accommodate any kind of physical matter within Through experimentation, it has been discovered that 301 can accommodate any kind of physical matter with certain size thresholds. The maximum size object that 301 can accommodate can be no larger than 301's 3-meter diameter. There is also a minimum limit, though this is based on density rather than size. Currently, most gases and anything on a molecular level are not affected by 301. For further details, see the experiment logs. Okay. 301 was discovered when there was a spike in disappearances of hikers and tourists in Blank National Park, only for several of them to be rediscovered far from the site of their disappearance. The Foundation did not act until it received reports of one of the missing hikers being found in Blank, France, and another near Blank, New South Wales, Australia. Okay, the Foundation can find them. Subsequent interviews with these individuals produced inconsistent descriptions of the event, even after the use of blank. Subject 301A1, retrieved in Blank, France, described the transfer as a floating sensation with a mild forward impetus, accompanied by the ringing of thousands of huge bells, and smelling like a wet dog and wood smoke, but having no other sensory components. However, Subject 301A2, retrieved near Blank, New South Wales, Australia, described it as a floating sensation with no sense of forward momentum, but including a salty taste, prickly feeling like a foot going to sleep over the entire body and being able to see stringy stuff surrounding the subject. Both subjects were administered a Class A amnestic and released. See document 301-018-4678A for full interview transcripts. While searching for the anomaly at Blank National Park, Agents Blank and Blank accidentally entered 301. They disappeared for approximately double blank minutes until the signals from their locator beacons were reacquired quadruple blank kilometers and double blank kilometers from their last recorded position respectively. Agent Blank's body was recovered by a deep water retrieval team 43 kilometers south-southwest of Blank, India. Agent Blank was recovered near Blank, Angola, suffering from exposure, malaria, and amoebic dysentery. Foundation personnel were able to debrief Agent Blank before he died. Agent Blank characterized the teleportation experience as being swept by a strong current that stank of shit. He also stated that he saw flames, and reported hearing sand falling and tasting sugar than dirt in a repeating cycle. Agent Blank died 2 days later. Based on the agent's testimony, 301 was found to be located on a regularly used hiking trail. The Foundation rerouted the hiking trail and built the current facility containing 301. From information gathered from subjects 301A1 and 301A2 and Agent Blank, it appears that the interspatial region accessed upon entering 301 is experienced differently by each subject. This experience can manifest as a wide variety of sensory phenomena, including tactile, gustatory, olfactory, visual, oral, and kinetic sensations. Experimentation with Class D personnel to further study this aspect of 301 is recommended. A selection of post-experiment analyses are collected in Experiment Log 301C. I wonder if that just has something to do, like, you're completely knocked out, you're almost on the level of death, and then you come back. It might just be like your mind's making up shit. I mean, we had an article like this. So, like, whatever is smell, like, sensation of movement, whatever. It could just be kind of, like, random generated per occupant, per test subject, whomever. Experiment Log 301A. Using remote exploration in conjunction with ongoing live experimentation, we've managed to map out much of the geodesic grid that 301 teleportation follows. While this has resulted in the discovery of a large number of sites that require Foundation monitoring, many of these sites are in locations that make monitoring them a moot point. i.e. dozens of egress points that open in the middle of the ocean. Dr. Blank. Yeah, that'd be tedious, painful, and painstaking. Experiment log 301B. After increasing the size of test materials, we finally found that 301 cannot accommodate items larger than itself. If a piece of matter that exceeds 301's 3 meter diameter is placed on 301, there will be no effect. This has been noted for future containment protocols. There is also a minimum limit for what 301 can accommodate. We've filled the containment room with easily detectable gases as well as bombarding 301 with radioactive particles. However, there is no evidence of any of these substances being successfully transported. The prevailing hypothesis is that 301's minimum limit is based on density rather than size. Solids and liquids are affected while gases and individual molecules are not. Dr. Blank. Experiment log 301C. Entries include subject identification number, egress point, and trip duration, followed by a listing of major sensory elements of the teleportation experience. Note that, for recovery purposes, all test subjects are equipped with a remote beacon harness that reports the subject's GPS coordinates to a Foundation satellite every 15 seconds from anywhere on Earth. Okay, that's handy. Subject DO5738, egress point, blank, Iowa, United States. Duration, triple blank minutes. Kinetic, none. Visual, none. Auditory, none. Olfactory, none. Tactile, sensation of slimy tendrils moving over subject's body. Gustatory, none. Other notes, none. Okay. That was rather cut and dry. Subject DO9983, egress point, blank, China. Duration, double blank minutes. Kinetic, floating sensation as though suspended in liquid. Visual, a red transparent liquid environment. Subject reports seeing many red blood cell-like objects of approximately 3 centimeters to 50 centimeters in diameter. Subject also reports seeing a very large shadowy object moving in the distance. Auditory, none. Olfactory, none. Tactile, none. Gustatory, coppery taste. Other notes, subject reports feeling as though they're about to drown throughout duration of transfer. This could be like the concept of it teleports you whatever amount of distance, but it has to like fucking minimize you. So it just like fucking minimizes you, sends you to point B, and you're like just somewhere on planet Earth. Like mini, but kind of like protected. Mini. You're mini. You're mini but protected. Like, that's a relay point. By the time you get to C, you're fine. You're just, like, minified in point B. That's why you're, like, inside of a fish. And you taste shit. Okay. What the hell? It's super odd so far, but okay. Subject D25684. Egress point, blank, Mexico. Duration, triple blank seconds. Kinetic, rapid flying sensation. Visual, subject reports seeing the terrain they would normally have traveled through to reach the end point below. Wait, what? I have a feeling this depends on the observer, like the subject, and it might be like your readiness for teleportation. Maybe not even like teleportation technology, just like the concept of teleporting in general. So like if you go really slow, you might experience like something really weird because you're just not ready for teleporting. You have like some fucking crazy bad trip. You're ready to like teleport, they just send you fast and you like literally shit. Subject D25684. Egress point, blank, Mexico. Duration, triple blank seconds. Kinetic, rapid flying sensation. Visual, subject reports seeing the terrain they would normally have traveled through to reach the endpoint of the teleportation process. They also report being unable to see their body. See below. Auditory, rushing wind. Olfactory, fresh bread. Tactile, none. Gustatory, none. Other notes. Subject also reports seeing a variety of semi-transparent organisms during transit. These creatures data expunged. Okay, what the fuck? Bread. Bread. Subject D56001. Egress point blank, Germany. Duration, single blank minutes. Kinetic, none. Visual, none. Auditory, none. Olfactory, none. Tactile, none. Gustatory, none. Other notes. Subject retrieved exhibiting strong schizophrenia interspersed with lengthy periods of catatonia. This is the first time exposure to 301 has resulted in this level of mental trauma. Okay. So you're just unable to ascertain evidence of like anything except they just had like a bad mental reaction. Subject D56187. Egress point near blank Brazil. Duration double blank seconds. Kinetic. Gentle forward movement. Visual unknown. Subject rendered blind and cannot recall any visual stimuli from his time in 301. Auditory none. Olfactory none. Tactile. Spots of cold moving across the left arm. Gustatory none. Other notes. First instance of exposure to 301 causing a physical change in subject. So this makes me like look back to what I said and also think of it slightly different. I'm ready to teleport. I want to get there fast though, and I don't want to get hurt at all. I don't want it to like affect me badly. So you get like a cold arm. Yeah, I gave you the cold shoulder teleport. Give the teleport a cold shoulder, and I gently teleported quickly, but I didn't see anything because I didn't want to get scared either. Huh? Subject D58092, egress point near blank Laos. Duration double blank minutes. Kinetic free fall. Visual none. Auditory a repeating complex multi-tonal scale. Foundation staff are currently attempting to recreate this scale. Olfactory. Acetic acid. Parentheses vinegar. Tactile none. Gustatory none. Other notes. Those sensors reported a double blank second delay between the subject entering 301 and reappearing at the destination. D58092 insisted that she had been in 301 for several days. The possibility of a time dilation effect should be investigated. Oh god. The poor guy that broke down and went schizo. He was in there for infinite forever time. Subject D614. No. Subject D60014. Egress point near blank Canada. Duration double blank seconds. Kinetic. Flying sensation described as oddly slow. Visual. Subject reports seeing an unknown number of interlocking gears as far as she can see. Auditory. Grinding gears. Olfactory. Machine oil. Tactile. None. Gustatory. None. Other notes. Upon return, subject exhibited an unusual fascination with machinery. 3 days later, subject D60014 began asking personnel about... 3 days later, subject D60014 began... 3 days later, subject D60014 began asking personnel about several mechanical SCP objects, including SCP triple blank, SCP triple blank, SCP triple blank, and SCP triple blank, and displaying knowledge about them that only level 4 or higher staff could know. Subject interrogated and terminated 15 days ahead of schedule. This is old Foundation. I thought this was really neat. We, like, quantum teleported, it was really slow, but I saw, like, the Gears universe. And not only that, but it gave me, like, knowledge. I don't know, this might be like a fucking pataphysical hallucination or something. It just conveys, like, knowledge. But it's gotta be like a weird hallucination every time. Subject D60445. Subject D60445. Egress point near blank Siberia, Russia. Duration double blank minutes. Kinetic unknown, visual unknown, auditory unknown, olfactory unknown, tactile unknown, gustatory unknown. Other notes. Subject found bisected along the coronal plane. Cause unknown. Subject D61429. Egress point near blank Florida, United States. Duration double blank minutes. Kinetic floating, visual painfully bright white light. Auditory, shouting voices, like everyone in the whole world was shouting at me at once. No individual words could be discerned. Olfactory, none. Tactile. Pain over the entire body, described as like having red-hot needles stabbing every inch of me. Gustatory, none. Other notes. Subject reports being watched and being judged by unknown entities. This is like the inverse, like just a fear complex of like, I'm scared of teleporting, what happens? Oh no, that's scary, that's terrifying. The wormhole alien show up and judge me too. And fucking like watch me teleport. Subject D62225. Egress point near blank Niger. Duration triple blank minutes. Kinetic unknown. Visual unknown. Auditory unknown. Olfactory unknown. Tactile unknown. Gustatory unknown. Other notes. Several life forms of the types described by D25684 appear with subject. Subject is killed and life form's data expunged. Area is sterilized. Auditory, electromagnetic, Euclid, gustatory, intangible, location, olfactory, sensory, tactile, teleportation, visual. Huh. Just a little too dangerous to like approach further researching this one, huh? Or something like that. I don't know, that's confusing. I feel like we got like some other intelligence fuddling us whenever we teleport there, because like sometimes we're just flying through the air and there they are, like helping us through the air. They're like, it's all over now. We're done teleporting. They want to like eat us. No. They want to talk to us, and the old school Foundation fucking napalmed the whole area. 302, item number 302, object class safe. Special containment procedures. 302 is to be kept in site redacted under Safe 3 protocols. Artifacts should be handled with gloves at all times, and utmost precaution should be taken to ensure that the artifact does not make skin contact with unauthorized personnel. Any personnel not scheduled for testing that begin showing signs of 302's effects may apply for termination. All subjects suffering from 302's affliction should be terminated after no longer than 8 days due to data expunged. Okay. This sounds sus. Description: 302 is a small tin sculpture with a blonde... Description: 302 is a bronze... Description: 302 is a small tin sculpture with a bronze/patina finish depicting 2 ants carrying a leaf. Whenever a human makes direct skin contact with the artifact, they will invariably find a single, small, relatively harmless ant on their person within 2... Whenever a human makes direct skin contact with the artifact, they will invariably find a single, small, relatively harmless ant on their person within (2) hours. This ant may belong to any of several different small ant species, and its appearance rarely causes much alarm. It is of note that in all recorded cases, subjects have always distinctly noticed this first ant and remember... It is of note that in all recorded cases, subjects have always distinctly noticed this first ant and fully remember seeing it. Thereafter, an exponentially increasing number of ants will appear on the exposed subject by day. Throughout the entire day, the number of ants that appear seems to be in the range of 3 to the power of x to 5 to the power of x, where x is the number of days since initial contact with 302. As time progresses, the ants may not only increase in number but also change in species. Smaller, minimally harmful species appear at first, later transitioning to larger species, or species with more painful stings or bites. Ants seem to appear out of the nearest unobserved space. This includes from under clothes, nearby objects, or, if left with no alternatives, bodily orifices. Ants seem singularly preoccupied with exploring or attacking the affected individual, and will not stop until either themselves or the subject is deceased. Well, this is fucked. The bugs! Addendum 30201. Subject of test log 2 was a single D-class personnel. Subject was told he was to participate in a study testing how a week of relaxation might affect the performance of D-class personnel, and was kept in a relaxation chamber with exercise equipment, various books and magazines, and a color television. Subject was exposed to 302 without his knowledge. Test log 2. Days 1 and 2. Subject spends his time in leisurely pursuits. Subject expresses great satisfaction and reports nothing out of the ordinary. Day 3. Subject reports small ant problem and admits it is probably his fault for letting crumbs fall over the couch and carpet. Subject admits he noticed an ant 2 days previous but did not think it was worth mentioning. Subject reports great satisfaction otherwise and requests a can of bug spray. Day 4. Subject reports that ant problem persists despite his best efforts to spray the room, and that the ants have become more numerous and occasionally painful. Subject reports that the ants seem bigger and different from those he saw the day before. Subject still reports relative happiness with the experiment. The ants? The fucking ants? Day 5. Subject reports great annoyance and increased pain, as ants are now nearly always on his person. Ants seem to have changed once more, becoming more aggressive and agitated. At this point, subject clearly suspects ants are not of a normal nature. Day 6. Subject in great pain. On average, 5 (5). Tropical green-head ants, Rhytidoponera metallica, are seen to appear every minute on subject throughout entire day. Subject becomes aggressive due to pain and demands to be released from chamber. Pretense for experiment is dropped and subject is restrained and given medical attention. Day 7. Subject in great pain. An average of 25 (25). Tropical fire ants. Solenopsis. Okay. Day 7. Subject in great pain. An average of 25 (25). Tropical fire ants, Solenopsis, are seen to appear every minute on subject. Subject requires continuous ant removal. Day 8. Subject is heavily medicated and unconscious throughout majority of day. Day 8. Subject is heavily medicated and unconscious through majority of day. An average of 140 bullet ants, Paraponera clavata, appear on subject each minute. Rapid ant removal and anti-inflammatory medicine is necessary. Day 9. Data expunged. Subject and experiment are terminated. Ectoentropic insect, safe, sculpture, tactile. Just don't touch the sculpture. Holy fuck, that one's cool though. It's like wild. Scary, but kind of like freaky interesting. Okay. 303, item number 303, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. As 303 has not yet been known to travel beyond the boundaries of Site Double Blank, the entire area of Site Double Blank is currently considered 303's containment area. All rooms in Site Double Blank are to be altered where possible so as to have two entrances separated by a distance of 10 meter or line of sight. Personnel are to be distributed evenly throughout the facility with available radio or intercom contact so that encounters may be resolved quickly. Personnel who witnessed 303 are to be submitted for immediate psychiatric evaluation. All SCP objects housed at Site Double Blank since before 6/4/10 are to be transferred to Site Double Blank B, one at a time. Each SCP object will be transferred again to Site Double Blank A once it can be verified that 303 has not migrated from Site Double Blank with it. Once 303 either migrates to a Site Double Blank B or remains present at Site Double Blank once 303 either migrates to a Site Double Blank B or remains present at Site Double Blank once all SCPs in question have been transferred to Site Double Blank A, Containment procedures will be updated as appropriate. Description: witnesses described 303 as a nude, sexless, emaciated humanoid figure with reddish-brown skin. Instead of normal facial features, its head is dominated by an extremely large mouth, which bears a set of oversized human teeth. It continually vocalizes a wheezing noise, loud enough to be heard from the other side of most solid doors. All individuals who have had encounters with 303 are capable of describing it in full, including individuals who have not physically seen any part of it. "303 will periodically materialize behind any closed door, hatch, or other entryway barrier opposite a sentient observer chosen by unknown means. 303 will then remain behind the door for an indeterminate amount of time. Any individual attempting to open the door or barrier experiences intense, paralyzing fear that lasts until 303 dematerializes, either on its own or to avoid being directly seen by another observer. The source of this fear is not clear, but appears to be similar in nature to arachnophobia and ophidiophobia, originating on a preconscious genetic level. Data expunged. Analysis indicates that 303 is not, in fact, purposefully inducing fear of... Data expunged. Analysis indicates that 303 is not, in fact, purposefully inducing fear in the affected individuals. So, like a fear of snakes and spiders. 303 does not allow itself to come into direct 303 does not allow itself to come into direct visual contact with any observer. It has never allowed any one individual to view more than 10% of its form. When the door or other entryway barrier is partially or completely transparent, 303 will materialize in an orientation that leaves 10% or less of its body visible, or cause effects of fog or frost on the transparent surface to achieve the same effect. If 303 is approached from a direction in which there is not a solid object or door breaking line of sight, it will dematerialize before direct visual contact is made. Any electronic or complex mechanical devices that 303 encounters are temporarily disabled. 303 has made no recorded attempt to physically or verbally engage any observer. How 303 arrived at Site Double Blank is not known at this time. 303's first recorded appearance was on 3/1/10. It is suspected that 303 was inadvertently transferred along with or manifested by another SCP on site. All SCPs on Site Double Blank are being re-examined accordingly. Incident Log 303-A. Incident Log 303-1. Incident Log 303-1. Agent Blank was showering in her private quarters bathroom when she became aware of the presence of 303 on the opposite side of the shower curtain. It was wheezing extremely loudly. Startled by the discovery, she accidentally struck the shower curtain, causing it to sway outwards. The curtain partially wrapped around 303, revealing that it was less than 0.5 meters from the curtain, standing erect and facing... The curtain partially wrapped around 303, revealing that it was less than 0.5 meters from the curtain, standing erect and facing the shower. Agent Blank reports spending approximately the next 3 hours sobbing in the shower quietly, as not to disturb 303. Agent Blank reported that the wheezing stopped very suddenly, at which point in time she was able to exit the shower. Incident 303-3. Agent Blank encountered 303 inside the Site Double Blank second floor. Incident 303-3. Agent Blank encountered 303 inside the Site Double Blank second floor break room. He was attempting to obtain coffee creamer from the counter cabinet when he heard loud wheezing emanating from the cabinet and was overtaken by an overwhelming fear. Agent Blank later reported that 303 was huddled in the cabinet in the fetal position. Agent Blank claimed to be certain of the information despite failing to open the cabinet door. Later, when the cabinet was examined, one container of powdered coffee creamer was missing. Note, this is the first recorded instance of 303 removing an object from a scene. Incident 303-6. Dr. Blank was discovered dead from dehydration in a second-floor storage room. It is estimated that Dr. Blank spent up to 5 days in the storage room before being discovered. A small 4-meter by 4-meter decompression chamber separated the storage room from the adjoining hallway. 303 occupied the decompression chamber for the duration of Dr. Blank's isolation. 303 occupied the decompression chamber for the duration of Dr. Blank's isolation in the storage room, disallowing entry from either direction and making it impossible for Dr. Blank to leave. Test log 303A. A team consisting of Dr. Blank, Researcher Blank, 4 security personnel, and 4 D-Class personnel were assigned to be dispatched to any reported incident of 303's materialization in order to immediately perform on-site testing. These logs take place at the door to room triple blank, from the first floor hallway. 303 was reported to be within room triple blank. Test 303-1. 1 Male D-Class personnel D-3031 was ordered to open the door and threatened that he would be transferred to SCP triple blank duty for non-compliance. He refused, citing extreme fear. Test 303-2. 1 Male D-Class personnel D-3031 was ordered to open the door and threatened that he would be terminated on the spot for non-compliance. He refused, claiming that if he were to do so, that 303 would data expunged. He was terminated on the spot. Old Foundation. Test 303-3 1 Female D-Class personnel 303-2 that had witnessed the termination of D-3031 was ordered to open the door and threatened that she would be terminated on the spot for non-compliance. She refused, claiming that if she opened the door, that 303 would data expunged. Researcher Blank was visibly shaken by this claim. D-3032 was not terminated. Test 303-4 1 Female D-Class personnel 3032. Test 303-4 1 Female D-Class personnel D-3032 was ordered to open the door. 1 Male D-Class personnel D-3033 was given 1 combat knife by security personnel in order to data expunged, until D-3032 opened the door. After 2 hours of data expunged, D-3032 died from blood loss. D-3032 made no attempt to open the door. My God. That's just brutal. They made him stab her to death because she wouldn't fucking open the door. Jesus. They're like death by 1,000 cuts or something. I don't know. What the fuck? Addendum 5.1.10. 303 appears to have claimed the second floor storage room as its own. It has so far disallowed any personnel entry to the room since 4.5.10. It leaves periodically to acquire Foundation property, which is then moved into the second floor storage room. To date, the following list describes all non-classified items taken by 303. Bullet 1 blank cryotube. Bullet 3 3 sets of standard Foundation surgical equipment. To date, the following list describes all non-classified items taken by 303. Bullet 1 blank cryotube. Bullet 3 3 sets of standard Foundation surgical equipment. Bullet blank blank blank. Bullet 2 2 D-Class research cadavers. Bullet 1 gasoline powered generator. Bullet a variety of chemicals including large quantities of tryptophan, phenylalanine, blank, and tyrosine, among others. Bullet 1 container of powdered coffee creamer. In addition to this, a number of classified materials have been obtained by 303. Staff are still attempting to determine what specific purposes 303 may have for these materials. I'm not sure if this thing's like hyper intelligent or what. We've got powdered creamer, or like coffee creamer, tryptophan, phenylalanine, tyrosine. These are like things humans want, like essential things too. I don't know. This seems more like it's intelligent. I feel like the coffee creamer is more like a message, like don't fuck with me. Okay, I need all this shit. Leave me alone. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Okay. Huh. Euclid humanoid mind affecting observational teleportation. Okay. I gotta pee. Be right back. Alright. 304, item number 304, object class safe, special containment procedures. The existence of 304 is currently being masked by the constant transmissions of the blank space probe. The masking transmission is coded so as to prevent the deciphering of 304 by any non-Foundation personnel. This transmission is in addition to the probe's publicly known communication with Earth and its This transmission is in addition to the probe's publicly known communication with Earth and its conventional scientific operations conducted by NASA. The blank and its currently inactive replacement are on a course that will permanently keep them between the Earth and the estimated course of 304. Should the original probe fail, its replacement, (S), its replacements will immediately begin transmitting at the same frequency and assume all public communications as though it were the original probe. Description: 304 is a radio signal at the... What? Is that sextuple as well? Description: 304 is a radio signal at the sextuple gigahertz frequency which has been transmitting a list of names and their associated titles since its discovery in 1960 single blank. The data within is a list of world leaders, which appears to be in chronological order. The signal begins in Morse code with King William IV, and proceeds down a list of English monarchs, American presidents, and other leaders. 304's format changes from Morse code to ASCII upon reaching President Lyndon B. Johnson. 304 lists a total of 63 persons with the title of President, as well as data expunged Title 05. The signal then changes from ASCII to an as yet undeciphered format, listing an The signal then changes from ASCII to an as yet undeciphered format, listing an estimated 7 more names. After the 7th undeciphered name, 304 pauses for 12 seconds and repeats. The reason for the abrupt conclusion of the list is unknown. This is really interesting. The format change, the world leaders, 63 persons with the title of president, and the most interesting, I think, to me is as well as data expunged Title 05. I think the Foundation as like the Asimov Foundation is very interesting. Where we establish it as like the ruler of Earth. It's kind of like, you know, you gotta accept the Asimovian side of the interpretation, at least very barely. But the name Foundation is good enough. You don't even need Asimov for it. Interesting. 05. Note, the data contained in 304 is restricted to 05 personnel and above. Authorized personnel confirm that the list of American and Chinese presidents has proven accurate to date. Data which may or may not identify Foundation personnel will not be discussed in this document. 304 has been determined to be coming from the direction of Redacted. However, 304's origin is unknown, as is how long it had existed before discovery. Extraterrestrial knowledge. Safe transmission. It just reminds me like Time Lords and timelines, the river of time, anchoring the thread. Like, you spend time researching. I don't know. Who knows? Could be temporal, could just be causality, could be just something fun. 305. Item number 305, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 305 is... Special Containment Procedures. 305 is presently immobile. 305... Site 305 has been constructed around its present location, a wooded canyon near Redacted. It is staffed by at least 7 personnel who have prior experience with 305 and prove resistant to its effects. The remainder of the station crew should be rotated on a weekly basis. 305's effect grows weaker if human subjects are exposed to it for extended periods of time. Therefore, a resistant subject should be exposed to it for at least 3 hours daily. 305's effects are greatly magnified in individuals with feelings of guilt, particularly over crimes, or mental instability. Therefore, Site 305 is staffed exclusively by non-D-class researchers and agents who are screened for criminal records and mental instability. Any personnel who begin to hear whispered compliments must be transferred out immediately. If symptoms persist after removal, frontal lobotomy data expunged. Oh my god. The actual containment chamber of 305 is constructed of standard materials and offset from the rest of the station by a 5 meter buffer zone to protect normal staff from the worst of 305's effects. Site 305 broadcasts a constant status normal signal to Site 19. If Site 305 becomes compromised during a containment breach, this signal will cease and a heavily armed containment team will immediately be dispatched to the location. Instances of 305-1 are extremely dangerous and should be terminated on site without attempting containment. As of double blank 2000 single blank, all attempts to extract samples from 305 for study are forbidden. See Addendum 305-1. Description: 305 is a rock formation of approximately humanoid size and shape. Remote recordings of 305 show that it remains stationary at all times, even when interacting with human subjects. When viewed by a sentient observer, 305 appears to be a mobile, animate humanoid of indeterminate sex. This manifestation is formed of cracked rock similar to 305's physical form, and while it is faceless, subjects report that the cracks all over 305's surface begin to resemble human lips and ears as it moves. Human subjects who make visual contact with this manifestation hear whispering voices. Although recording equipment in the area picks up nothing and the phenomenon is observed even in subjects who are deaf from Human subjects who make visual contact with this manifestation hear whispering voices. Although recording equipment in the area picks up nothing, and the phenomenon is observed even in subjects who are deaf from birth. 305 will initially ingratiate itself with the subject by whispering compliments. During this phase, the subject experiences feelings of friendliness and trust toward 305. These sensations seem unrelated to the actual content of the compliment, which ranges from off to nonsensical and disturbing. A short list of reported compliments is included. Bullet: you have beautiful eye sockets. Bullet: redacted every one of your fingers. Bullet: your neck appears unusually flexible. In the second phase, the subject begins to hear many voices emanating from 305. At this point, the whispers become critical, attempting to insult the subject or undermine the subject's self-esteem, especially by playing in the subject's guilty conscience. Like the compliments, these insults make little sense when recounted, but have a profound psychological effect, driving the subject to suicide before the final phase in 20% of cases. If the subject is removed from 305's presence during Phase 2, the subject will hallucinate that these insults are emanating from mouth-like cracks that appear to form on the ground, walls, and ceiling. In the third and final phase, the voices will abruptly stop. 2 to 10 hours from the cessation of hallucinations, 2 to 10 hours from the cessation of hallucinations, 305's humanoid manifestation will appear and kill the subject. Causes of death are varied, but include severe cardiac infarct, muscle spasms leading to severing of the spinal column, diaphragm paralysis, and redacted. Seems like the fear response is like a method of predation then for this. This object chooses to use that. A subject who dies of any cause after the beginning of the second phase, data expunge, followed by the emergence of an instance of 3051 from the corpse. 3051 are humanoids slightly smaller than 305 itself. Unlike 305, 3051 seem to be made of a smooth, hard white substance, and the lips and mouths on their surface. Unlike 305, 3051 seem to be made of a smooth, hard white substance, and the lips and mouths on their surfaces are extremely lifelike. 3051 have the same abilities as 305, and although they are created with a very short range of 2 meters, this range increases exponentially over time. 3051 move at 30 kilometers per hour and seem naturally drawn in a direct line toward the nearest densely populated area, presumably in an attempt to further propagate themselves. 3051 are highly resistant to bullets and cutting weapons. Elimination teams should be equipped with heavy ballistics and explosives. In subjects who have entered Stage 2, a manifestation of 3051 can only be prevented by removal of 80% data expunged. This is, what if we made Peanut like fucking crazy? It's scary, it's like a rock that snapped my neck. Yeah, right. Yeah? You wanna fuck with this thing? Addendum 3051. On double blank 2000 single blank, Foundation personnel used a remote-controlled device to extract a sample of 305's rock structure. 305 began to emit loud grinding noises and a low growling sound. Existing cracks in the rock formation deepened and several new ones formed in the vicinity of the removed rock sample. 305 then moved its arms upward slightly and slid 1 foot, about 10 centimeters, across the ground as if taking a step, shedding rock fragments as it moved before returning to its stationary state. Following this event, the range of 305's psychic influence tripled, resulting in several data expunged. Sample proved to be ordinary sedimentary rock consistent with the surrounding area. Sedimentary, whatever. There's like fucking 3 to 5 different ways to pronounce that. Sediment. Follow-up X-ray scans of the formation itself reveal the presence of redacted, suggesting that the rock formation may actually be an imprisoned instance of data expunged. Upgrade to Keter requested pending. We've harnessed the power of 173. Okay. And we made him breakable for our safety, but we made him way too powerful. You don't want 3051 making 3052s. And then like breaking off a part of it, it's gonna like eat the whole world. Auditory cognitohazard compulsion, Euclid, hallucination, humanoid, mind-affecting, rewrite, sculpture, visual. 306. There's an image. Item number 306. Containment class Keter, disruption class 4 over EKHI, risk class 4 over danger. There's an image. The description of the image, clearance level 3, confidential, by the way. The description of the image: instance of SCP-3061, formerly Dr. Stan Blank. Okay. Well, let's move on. It's, the name of the image is toad.jpg. It's a frog. It's a toad. It appears to be a toad sitting on a tree. There are leaves next to it. The toad is making a very smirking face. There's not very much you can tell except for like the watermark in the bottom right. 2 H's. Anyway. It's a frog. It's a frog. Special containment procedures. Frozen samples of 306 are stored at Bioresearch Site 101. Research on 306 is to be carried out under Biosafety Level 4 protocols. Subjects infected with 306 are to be immediately placed under quarantine. Any items making physical contact with infected subjects or 306 residue are to be incinerated. Personnel interacting with infected subjects are to remain in full hazmat containment suits. Personnel interacting with infected subjects or 306 residue are to remain under mandatory quarantine and submit to twice daily examination for a period of 2 weeks after interaction. Containment breaches within controlled environments will result in lockdown of affected area. Personnel within the affected site are to remain in place until cleared for release. Hazmat teams are to remove and examine personnel for signs of infection. Infected personnel are to be quarantined. Affected areas to then be sterilized. A 1 kilometer radius around any areas experiencing an outbreak of 306 is to be quarantined. Areas are to have all water and sewer systems sealed. Hazmat teams are to be deployed in the area, and all persons in the quarantine zone are to be evacuated and screened for infection. Uninfected persons are to be released, with non-Foundation employees administered Class B amnestics. Infected persons are to be terminated. Following completed evacuation, enclosed areas are to be sterilized with ethylene oxide. In unenclosed areas, controlled burning, followed by a ground sweep, are to In unenclosed areas, controlled burning, followed by a ground sweep, are to be enacted. Wetlands harboring 306 are to be impounded, filled, and sealed with concrete. Preventing 306 from infecting any large body of water is an Alpha Class priority. Description: 306 is a fungus related to the genus Description: 306 is a fungus related to the genus Trichophyton. 306 can infect humans through inhalation of spores or by skin-to-skin contact. Initial symptoms of infection can include coughing and sneezing, and skin lesions. Lesions caused by 306 display a morphology similar to benign papillomas (warts), and reach full size after approximately 2 days. Lesions are prone to shedding, after which another lesion forms underneath. Lesions that fall from the body of infected subjects are light enough to be carried by wind, and capable of spreading 306 for years. If untreated, lesions caused by 306 can cover the body within 2 weeks. Strike through. 306 appears to mainly infect humans, however testing is ongoing to determine any additional carriers on strike-through. 306 has been shown to grow in nearly all biological matter. 306's primary anomalous property will only manifest when growing on human tissue. When infecting a human, 306 secretes several previously unknown enzymes. These enzymes catalyze an unknown process which drastically alters the structure of cells, resulting in the formation of several extra organelles of an indeterminate function. Approximately 2 weeks following infection, infected subjects begin to develop major physiological modifications. Over the course of the next 3 weeks, subjects rapidly lose weight, followed by the development of abnormal pigmentation and increased water permeability of skin. Subjects who are still able to speak during Subjects who are still able to speak describe being in constant, excruciating pain. Relax 2, parentheses 2 to 5, parentheses 5 months. Symptoms include shrinkage of organ systems, reshaping of the skeletal system, strike through, rapid decrease in intellect, unstrike through. This process can last between 2, parentheses 2, and 5, parentheses 5 months, after which subjects are referred to as 306-1. Instances of 306-1 on average weigh 25 to 30 kilograms, measuring 0.5 meters in length. 306-1 have an appearance similar to amphibians but correspond to no known species. Autopsies of deceased 306-1 specimens have revealed that internal structures remain morphologically similar to human organs following metamorphosis. Instances appear to enjoy human presence and actively attempt to gain contact when in human presence. 306-1 remain extremely infectious, with any direct physical contact resulting in infection by 306. 306-1 are capable of reproduction in a similar manner to Agalcanis calidrius. Agalcanis calidrius? I don't know. 306 was discovered in redacted Louisiana in a swampy area when locals reported a colony of unknown amphibious creatures coupled with a string of unexplained disappearances. Foundation agents were deployed to the scene to investigate, leading to the object's discovery. Since this event, double-blank additional 306 outbreaks have been found in the southeastern United States. 306 is strike-through, treatable with polyene and triazole antifungals in early stages on strike-through. Resistant to nearly all treatment, with the exception of high heat. Cauterization of infected tissue has shown modest success in treating cutaneous infection. However, respiratory infection is not treatable. See Addenda. Addendum 1. Testigod 306 has shown the fungus to be able to grow in nearly all biological matter, including most vertebrates. However, only humans have been shown to develop any deleterious effects from infection. Due to the possibility of a major outbreak, Dr. Blank is requesting increased funding for research into 306. Addendum to a memo from Site Double Blank Director Blank, Double Blank 1980 single blank. Based off Dr. Blank's research into 306, we now consider it extremely likely that large reservoirs of 306 exist in the wild. Because of both the physical danger and danger to secrecy presented, all sites are advised to monitor for wild 306 reservoirs. Any confirmed vectors are to be dealt with by applicable regional forces. Addendum 3. As of double blank 1980 single blank, Site double blank has reported a decreased efficacy of antifungal sprays used to combat 306. 056 has authorized further testing to determine the cause of this change. Addendum 4, Incident I-3063. On double blank 1980 single blank, all 12 contained instances of 306-1 escaped primary containment during routine feeding. Researcher Thompson was fatally injured by a stray bullet as security subdued the specimens. The following is a transcript of an interview conducted with researcher Phyllis immediately following the breach. Level 3 clearance required. Access granted. Interviewer Researcher Phyllis. Interviewed Researcher Phyllis. Interviewer Agent Leonard. Begin log. Leonard. Thank you for being here on short notice. Phyllis. Sure. Leonard. Alright, first order of business. Please state what you were doing when the breach occurred. Phyllis. While I was conducting feeding for 306-1 specimens. What's his name? Thompson was getting the feed and I was going to administer it. I did a count of the specimens. There are 11. But that was wrong, because there should have been 12. So I told Thompson to look at the logs and see if one had been moved to another site. All of a sudden there's this flash of motion, and the next thing I know I'm being pinned down by some of the specimens. I don't remember what happened after that. When I woke up, they were gone, and security was already there. Thompson was lying on the ground, bleeding from his mouth. The guards escorted me out. Leonard, so you're attacked by the specimens. Phyllis, basically. Leonard, I understand that these creatures are normally quite docile. What caused this aggressive behavior? Phyllis, okay. We've been performing some new testing on the specimens. Leonard, what kind of testing? Phyllis, intelligence testing, putting them through mazes, training them, that sort of thing. Leonard, and what does this have to do with the breach? Phyllis, everything. These guys were speeding through puzzles, memorizing commands almost instantly. We looked at the data, and these guys are as smart as primates. Smarter even than that, we tried teaching them how to read, how to write, and they picked it up in the blink of an eye. Leonard, I have documentation that says those creatures are no more intelligent than a common tree frog. Phyllis, that's what we thought at first. But this testing, it showed that we were dead wrong. They were writing coherent notes to us. They told us what their names were. We gave them an IQ test. It scored 127. These things are humans trapped in the bodies of frogs. Leonard, so what led to their aggressive behavior then? Phyllis, I'm not sure. Thompson brought in this kid's book with some fairy tales in it. Seems like they had enjoyed it, but after that they started getting angry with us. They were depressed. They wrote notes telling us that we had no right to keep them here, that they needed to be out in the world, they needed to be free. Leonard, what exactly did they expect to be able to accomplish if they were able to escape? Phyllis, I don't know. Leonard, okay, I believe we are done here. Phyllis, wait, before you go, can you tell me what happened to Thompson? Leonard, I'm sorry, he was killed in a breach, a stray bullet in the chest. Phyllis, that's a shame. He was going to bring them another story. End log. I don't know, it seems like they were learning, and they were disappointed by, like, the fucking fairy tale. They wanted knowledge. Closing statement. End log. Closing statement. Due to the information revealed in the incident, I order all contained instances of 3061 to be immediately terminated. They are now presenting a major obstacle to successful containment of an already dangerous object, 053. Addendum 5. Dr. Blank has found that most samples of 306 display wide-spectrum resistance to antifungals. Strike through upgrade to Peter. Strike through upgrade to Keter pending. Unstrike through. Upgraded to Keter. Double blank, 1990, single blank. Biohazard, contagion, fungus, Keter, transfiguration. 307. 307, item number 307, object class Keter. Special containment procedures. 307 is to be kept within a 0.5 meter square stainless steel planter within a hydroponic growth chamber equipped with remotely operated light and sprinkler. The sides of the planter are to be equipped with retractable circular blades, the controls to which must be located outside the containment cell and manned at all times. The hydroponic chamber is to be kept within a 5 meter by 5 meter by 3 meter room with stainless steel walls, floor, and ceiling. There are to be no windows in the room. All light will come from the hydroponic grow light. There are to be no windows in the room. All light will come from the hydroponic grow light. And any observation of 307 is to be done over a security camera. The temperature of the room is to be kept at 15 degrees Celsius to discourage seed production. If entry to 307's room is necessary, it is to be done by remotely operated robots. Absolutely no living humans are to enter 307's containment cell following Incident 307. See Addendum 2. If any specimens of 307 are discovered outside the containment cell, they are to be burned immediately. If any specimens of 307 are discovered outside the containment cell, they are to be burned immediately until only ashes remain. Any personnel who touches 307 must also be burned. Description: 307 is a creeping vine, similar in appearance to the common English ivy, (Hedera helix), save for the presence of greenish thorns on the stems, and the tendency of the leaves to exhibit a purple hue. The vine puts down roots approximately every 30.5 centimeters (12 inches). The roots can penetrate any porous material but not metal. Any part of the plant not connected to a root system is to be considered dead and safe to examine up close. I don't know why this reminds me of Doctor Who. The Doctor just knows so much about, anomalous stuff out in the universe because he learned it from the Time Lords. He just got, this fucking book in his head of all the shit he's learned about random creatures in the universe. In the multiverse. 307 appears to be carnivorous and seems to exhibit some degree of intelligence. See document 307A. When in the presence of a warm-blooded animal, hereafter referred to as the victim, it grows at a startlingly... When in the presence of a warm-blooded animal, hereby referred to as the victim, it grows at a startlingly rapid rate in the direction of the animal, often growing 3 vines at a time in what appears to be a flanking maneuver. Upon contact, 307 appears to paralyze the victim, and then liquefy and drain all internal organs, musculature, and blood. The mechanisms by which it does this are presently unknown. They have, however, led to researchers calling it spider ivy. Okay. 307 was first discovered by Agent Apocalypse. I'm just sitting here is spider ivy necessary? And also that's a cool flavor text tidbit. It's yes, it is. It's flavor text. It's nice. 307 was first discovered by Agent Apocalypse in blank blank, where he witnessed it rapidly growing up the trunk of a tree and consuming a nest of American robins. Further examination has revealed the prevalence of the plant throughout North America. It has shown itself to be highly resistant to any attempts at poisoning. This has included all commercially available herbicides, exposure to allelopathic plants. This included all commercially available herbicides, exposure to allelopathic plants, and formaldehyde. Except for the sample obtained for study, the plant has been burned wherever it has been encountered. However, it is very likely that numerous specimens still exist outside of Foundation control. 307 is only kept alive in the hopes of engineering a biological agent to use on the wild population. Well, that's good. That's cool. That's good and cool. Document 307A, Experiment Logs. Experiment 1, single blank, double blank, quadruple blank. Tray of mealworms introduced to cell. Result, SCP showed no signs of movement. Experiment 2, double blank, Experiment 2, single blank, double blank, quadruple blank. Chilean rose hair tarantula introduced. Result, SCP showed no signs of movement. Did not respond when tarantula climbed onto SCP. Experiment 3, single blank, double blank, quadruple blank. Live mouse introduced to cell. Result, SCP immediately began to grow in the direction of the mouse. One vine extended directly towards it, while 2 more grew around and in front of it, effectively surrounding the mouse. Mouse immediately became rigid and stopped moving upon contact with 307. Behavior continued for 26 seconds before mouse fell on its side, obviously dead. Vines outside the planter were severed, allowing D-Class personnel to collect mouse. Upon retrieval, mouse was noted to appear to be lacking any anatomic structure besides... Upon retrieval, mouse was noted to appear to be lacking any anatomic structure beside skin and bones. Mouse was taken for further examination. When mouse was dissected, researchers noted a complete absence of blood, internal organs, and musculature. All interior structures were instead replaced with a system of roots, which researchers traced back to the mouse's skull. A single seed was found inside the mouse's otherwise empty brain cavity. Mouse was subsequently burned. Experiment 4. Single blank, double blank, quadruple blank. Jar containing 130 aphids introduced. Additional camera added for close-up viewing. Result. Aphids proceeded to attach themselves to 307 and feed. 307 did not respond in any visible manner. All aphids were dead within 5 minutes of first feeding. Potential for use as insecticide noted. Addendum 1. Notes of interest taken by Agent Apocalymer during observation of 307. The energy necessary to facilitate such a rapid growth rate would be astronomical, yet 307 seems able to pursue prey regardless of available light or time since it last fed. The behavior exhibited by 307 during Incident 307 would suggest the presence of some kind of botanical muscle. Examination of severed vines has revealed no structure that could conceivably serve this purpose. Addendum 2. In light of Incident 307, 307 has been upgraded to Keter class. Appropriate adjustments to containment protocol have been made. See Incident Report 307 for more details. Alive, ectoentropic, Keter plant predatory species. This links to Incident Report 307. Let's see here. It's very short. SCP involved 307. Date double blank, quadruple blank. Location bioresearch area double blank. Description Incident log as compiled by Agent Apocalymer, agent in charge of containment and research on 307. The following is a description of security camera footage from 307's containment cell on the morning of blank 20 double blank. 8:01:01 a.m. Close-up observation camera in 307's hydroponic chamber goes offline. 8:12:19 a.m. Personnel D-104 and D-127 enter 307's containment cell to repair camera. 8:13:02 a.m. D-104 begins transfer of 307 to secure lockbox as per protocol. 8:13:42 a.m. D-104 places 307 in secure lockbox. 8:13:44 a.m. D-104 freezes in place. 8:13:47 a.m. D-127 is heard to inquire as to D-104's well-being. 8:13:50 a.m. D-127 begins fumbling with his flamethrower, seemingly in a state of panic. 8:13:51 a.m. A vine from 307, parentheses Vine A, is seen to grow in D-127's direction. 8:13:55 a.m. Personnel blank activates security saws in 307's planner. Vine appears unaffected. 8:14 a.m. The gas line of D-127's flamethrower is severed by one of 307's thorns. 8:14:02 a.m. D-127 flees the room in panic. 307 does not attempt to pursue. 8:14:15 a.m. D-104 falls over limp, presumed dead at this point. A second vine, parentheses Vine B, is visible hanging over the edge of the lockbox. 8:14:21 a.m. Vines begin to grow in the direction of the door to the holding cell. 8:14:24 a.m. Emergency saws are again activated. Vine B is severed. Vine A is not. 8:14:30 a.m. Vine A begins growing in direction of security camera 1. 8:14:51 a.m. Security camera 1 goes offline. Security camera 2 remains online. 8:15:33 a.m. 3 D-class personnel enter containment cell. 8:15:36 a.m. Vine A assumes position similar to defensive posture of a cobra. 8:15:41 a.m. Unidentified D-class personnel sets fire to Vine A. 8:15:43 a.m. Emergency saws are activated again. Vine A is severed. 8:15:46 a.m. Same D-class personnel manages to close lockbox. Other two remove D-104's body. 8:30:02 a.m. Autopsy begins on D-104. Autopsy results revealed Vine B had entered a small hole next to the faceplate on Personnel D-104's insulating bodysuit. Personnel's body was found to be in a state similar to that of the mouse described in Document 307A. No internal structure aside from the skeleton could be found, replaced by an elaborate network of roots, all connected to a seat located in D-104's skull. A pair of shoots had begun to sprout in the direction of the eye sockets. D-104 was summarily incinerated. Okay. It's kind of freaky. Item number 308, object class safe. I'm just reminded of, like, fucking Dio's vampirism powers. It's like we give the, like, attacking roots the power of vampirism without, like, sunlight affecting it or whatever. 99% of, like, the musculature energy of even just, like, the planta root system as a muscle is not going to matter. It's not going to be like, oh, fuck, I overexerted myself. No, it's going to be like, once I acquired the power of, like, eating my next food, it's not going to matter. If I use 99% of my body energy, but I get the blood I need to feed my body, then it's fine. The exertion worked. I don't know. It's probably... the modus of action I see there. That's the possibility I see there, but I don't know. It could be fucking anything. Special containment procedures. 308 is stored in a sterile containment module with restricted access. Personnel entering the room must observe Level 1 isolation protocol and will be remotely observed by security personnel for the duration of their visit. No organic material may be placed at 308 without Level 4 authorization. 308 will remain open until 308 will remain open unless involved in active experimentation. Description: 308 is an ornate funerary? Description: 308 is an ornate funerary casing of Aztec origin, dated roughly 500 years old, with dimensions 1.8 meters by 0.9 meters by 1.2 meters. It was found at the blank archaeological excavation among similar, though mundane, artifacts in a temple complex. 308 is covered in a Nahuatl pictographs consistent with ceremonial practices of its time, though unusual in the care and expense devoted to them. Under normal conditions, the artifact is inert, but it exerts an animating effect on organisms when they are placed inside it. The effect was first observed in the original inhabitant of the coffin, Didic Sponge. The poor condition of the individual has been attributed to its 500-year incarceration in the casing without nourishment or stimulation. Oh. Healthy, injured, or even deceased subjects are transformed by the artifact. Regardless of the condition of an organism prior to placement in the coffin, with one exception, see below, the creature will exhibit certain traits upon removal. Superficially, subjects remain unchanged, retaining injuries and conditions sustained prior to exposure. Despite the nature and seriousness of such trauma, however, subjects appear alive and responsive to the extent the injuries allow. For example, a subject exposed to a fatal dose of cyanide, in excess of 100 times fatal dosage, conversed normally, respired, and displayed vital signs such as heartbeat and brain activity. The subject also presented classical symptoms of acute poisoning, including shortness of breath, drowsiness, headache, and cyanotic skin, but did not succumb even after a period of many days. Another subject was pierced in several major arteries and exsanguinated before exposure to 308. A subsequent examination revealed a heartbeat but no discernible blood pressure, and the subject was conversant, though conscious of great pain in the injured areas. For further experiment logs, see 308A attached. That's fucking morbid. Conversant, but in extreme pain. Yeah? We don't elaborate. Subjects in this altered state will neither succumb to any injury, again one exception, no matter how severe, nor heal any wound, no matter how minor. In addition, they display a dependence on the artifact similar to addiction, insisting on regular exposure and becoming erratic and violent when this is withheld. In addition, they display a dependence on the artifact, similar to addiction, insisting on regular exposure and becoming erratic and violent when this is withheld. This is a coffin, like fucking Apophysis coffins, or whatever the fuck from Stargate. rings. Subjects experience pain normally, and many who have suffered extensive damage will rapidly deteriorate psychologically. Progressive conditions such as cancer and infections continue to advance in subjects exposed to 308, though instead of dying, they suffer from ever-escalating symptoms. The only thing that a subject requires to be affected by 308 is the presence of a heart. Subjects with a wounded or diseased heart are animated, as are portions of organisms or tissues connected to a heart. Individuals with their hearts removed, or body portions without a heart, are unaffected by exposure to the artifact. Even an isolated heart placed in the container will resume beating at a normal rhythm. Subjects exposed to 308 remain alive and essentially unkillable until their heart is destroyed, whereupon they succumb and decay normally. Because of the nature of 308 and the apparent psychological effects it exerts on subjects, all exposed individuals must be isolated and terminated at the conclusion of testing. Temporary use of 308 to debrief deceased personnel permitted by Level 4 authorization only. Temporary use of 308 to debrief deceased personnel permitted by Level 4 authorization only. If I could say that without getting a fucking massive loud car in the background. Experiment log 308A, parentheses, excerpts. Subject, Canis lupus familiaris. Condition, healthy. Summary of results. Subject apparently normal. Showed typical pain reaction, but survived repeated laceration, evisceration, exsanguination, burns over 90% body surface, multiple gunshots, electrocution, and lobotomy. Subject terminated by blunt trauma, destroying the heart. Subject D43895. Condition stage 4 small lung cell carcinoma. Summary of results. Subject continued to worsen post-exposure. Regular breathing ceased 3 days after exposure due to extensive tumor growth, but subject retained Regular breathing ceased 3 days after exposure due to extensive tumor growth, but subject retained consciousness. Tumor infiltrated renal system leading to external growth approximately 13 cm in diameter in the blank area by Tumor infiltrated renal system leading to external growth approximately 13 cm in diameter in the blank area by 14 days. Secondary tumors occlude vision and infiltrate the brain by 19 days. Upon the final ceasing of biological function at 52 days, metastatic tumors were evident over 70% of the body's surface area, and it infiltrated every organ system including the heart, which was the cause of subject's death. Let's give him a new non-cancerous heart. Subject D34892. Condition, head and heart surgically removed from the rest of the body, keeping attached vasculature intact. Summary of results. Subject revived and apparently conscious, though apparently in too much pain to communicate meaningfully. Applied painkillers had no visible effect. Research ongoing. Subject, Agent blank blank. Condition, terminated in the line of duty, recovering SCP triple blank. Summary of results. Animated for debriefing. Subject requested and was granted 2 weeks to prepare a post-actual report before termination. After 9 days, subject's nightly request for access to 308 was denied. The following morning, subject escaped containment by murdering a technician and proceeded to 308's containment area where she was terminated by guards on station with a bullet to the heart. Subject D34877. Condition, expired from myocardial Subject D34877. Condition, expired from myocardial infarction. Subject D34877. Condition, expired from myocardial infarction. Summary of results. Subject was recovered from the artifact inert with massive trauma to the chest, through which the heart had been expelled or ripped. The heart was beating regularly, but the subject's body showed no signs of life. Subject's medical background indicated that he had received a heart transplant 3 years prior. Inscription, reanimation, rewrite, safe. 309. What the fuck? There's an image. The description is just SCP. Now we bled everybody's ears. 309, there's a description. The description of the image is just 309.jpg. I can't fucking think straight after that bullshit. 309, item number 309. There is a description of the image. It's just SCP-309. The name of the image is just stuffedanimal.jpg. It just looks like a fucking weird stuffed animal with like a ripped face. If I could guess, it's like an odd lion. It's like yellowish. It's got kind of like a very puffy, poofy, cottony mouth. The eyes are very odd looking. Just a white background. Anyway. Yeah, now that all of our ears are mutually exploded collectively, because I couldn't mute it fast enough. And I don't predict like the annoying asshole at like the fucking 145 decibel car. 309, item number 305. 309, item number 309, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 309 is currently stored in a secure glove box in the level 2 research lab at Site Double Blank. Routine physical examinations of 309 as well as experiments involving small animals may only be conducted using the glove box. Removal of 309 from the glove box for testing on larger animals or humans requires the approval of Dr. Blank or equivalent Level 4 command personnel. Human testing is restricted to D-class personnel. Description: 309 is a small plush stuffed animal that looks as if it has been turned completely inside out. Golden orange fur is present along the seams, while a small amount of cotton stuffing and two protruding eyes are visible on the head. The interior of 309 is understuffed with cotton, giving it a flexible and cuddly feel. 309 has no effect on inanimate objects, however, contact with living subjects is both dangerous and life-threatening. Humans and animals lightly brushing 309 with a finger or a similarly small portion of the body display severe, non-localized discomfort for tens of minutes afterward. Humans also report feeling extreme nausea, despite the fact that 309 does not induce vomiting. The discomfort and nausea are so overwhelming that even the most hardened subjects have proven unable to voluntarily maintain contact with 309 for longer than a few seconds. If 309 is pressed firmly against a subject, or the subject quickly picks up 309 and attempts to hold it, the subject will be violently and painfully turned inside out over the course of 5 to 10 seconds. Skeletons are unaltered, but all soft tissues are inverted such that the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and various internal organs are resituated on the exterior of the body. Though not immediately fatal, the process is irreversible and universally considered painful. This thing's fucking horrifying. I like it though. It's kind of creepy and cool looking. Cognitohazard, Euclid, tactile, toy, transfiguration. Definitely not safe. And there we go, 310, the last one for the evening. 310, item number 310, object class safe. Special containment procedures. When not used in experimentation, 310 is to be kept at a 0.3 meter by 0.3 meters by 0.3 meters sealed vacuum case composed of flame retardant material. The research chamber surrounding the vacuum case shall be similarly flame retardant and be kept saturated with carbon dioxide, nitrogen, or other fire extinguishing agent when testing is not taking place. Standard Foundation protocols to prevent unauthorized access should be kept in place. No flammable or semi-flammable substances are permitted within the research chamber, except small quantities for research purposes. Authorization is required for testing on live or otherwise self-propelling test subjects. Chamber is to be kept sealed during testing an emergency vacuum system is to remain active. All personnel are forbidden to wear loose clothing when in chamber. Long hair must be kept tied up. Flame retardant suits are recommended. Memo number 310 AA. For the last time, loose clothing includes ties. Regardless of the normal dress code encouraged on site, we want to avoid any more cases like Dr. F. Blank. No item should be worn that might allow accidental contact with 310. Dr. John Drake. Any object which contacts 310 is to remain in the chamber until fully consumed. Any item or clothing contacting 310 is to be removed as expeditiously as possible while preventing further contact. Any limb or extremity contacting 310 is to be removed immediately. Surgical tools, including bone saws, are to be kept on hand for this eventuality, as well as bolt cutters and power saws in case time factors prevent more controlled amputation from being performed. This is Itachi or like Sasuke's Sharingan ability. Any Class D personnel contacting 310 are to be immediately terminated. If exposure of 310 to Class D personnel is part of a test procedure, it is recommended that the test subject is restrained prior to exposure to prevent further accidental contact. The research chamber is to remain sealed until all objects exposed to 310 are fully consumed. Therefore, it is recommended to limit size of test subjects to prevent lengthy lockdowns of research chamber. Description: 310 is a 157 millimeter tall white candle composed of apparently standard tallow. 310 is an unmarked 33 millimeter diameter cylinder with tapered tip, out of which emerges My toe is hurting really badly the way I pressed it against my desk. Description: 310 is a 157 millimeter tall white candle composed of apparently standard tallow. 310 is an unmarked 33 millimeter diameter cylinder with tapered tip, out of which emerges 7 millimeters of wick. When not immersed in an oxygen-free medium, the wick produces a steady 24 millimeter tall flame. This flame can be extinguished through most conventional means: removal of oxygen, immersion in non-flammable liquid, application of sudden intense airflow. However, on the removal of the inhibiting factor, the flame immediately reappears, behaving much like a standard trick candle. Only a small amount of tallow is liquefied at the base of the wick and is not consumed by the flame. Even during the longest duration removed from containment, days from Even during the longest duration removed from containment, quadruple blank to quadruple blank as a result of the events of data expunged. At no time during those weeks was the tallow level nor the overall height of 310 observed to decrease. Other than its interaction with the flame of 310, the tallow itself is not unusual in any respect. Tallow removed from 310 is designated 310-01 and is classified safe. It is easily cut and as malleable as would be expected. It also melts and burns as normal when exposed to ordinary flame. Any tallow removed from 310 is slowly replaced by unknown means. If 310 is cut short, tallow will grow from the lit section until the original 157 millimeters height and unblemished appearance is restored. In one experiment, 310 was placed in a heat chamber, melting the entire volume of tallow so only the wick remained. The flame remained lit even without fuel and gradually exuded tallow until its original state was restored. Any flammable or semi-flammable substance which comes into contact with 310 becomes ignited with a slow-spreading fire. Unlike the flame of 310, this fire cannot be extinguished by any known means other than exhausting its fuel supply. Experiments have shown that the fire will continue to burn even in a vacuum, underwater, in a nitrogen-saturated environment, under intense airflow, in a refrigerated environment, encased in a fire-retardant coating, encased in a fire-retardant covering. Again, it's like we sprinkled magic dust on something and it works. We can't figure it out though. Or any combination of the above. Only total consumption of all flammable material in contact with the flames will result in them becoming extinguished. Any object ignited by 310 are designated 310-02 and are classified Euclid until fully consumed, whereupon they resort Any object ignited by 310 are designated 310-02 and are classified Euclid until fully consumed, whereupon they revert to safe classification. Therefore, in the case of accidental ignition, especially of personnel, separating the lit section from the rest of the object as soon as possible is the only way to preserve the rest of the exposed object. 310-02 objects are also capable of spreading to other flammable or semi-flammable objects, resulting in further 310-02 type objects. The implications of such possibility for chain reaction are worrisome. Tests have shown that bodily contact with 310 is similar to normal immolation, that is highly painful and damaging. Damage is somewhat more extensive than that of normal flames, probably due to inability to extinguish and the unusually slow rate of spread of 310-02. No unusual psychic or mimetic properties have been observed. The means by which 310-02 objects are able to continue burning despite all efforts to extinguish is unknown. It is also unknown why 310 itself is so easy to extinguish, albeit temporarily. Recovery. 310 was recovered from the charred remains of blank blank blank, a hamlet outside of blank UK. The isolated nature of this site is probably responsible for the containment of the resulting blaze, which firefighters had battled unsuccessfully for 8 hours before abandoning the building to the flames. In the subsequent investigation, 7 people expired, either through contact with 310 or cross-contact with earlier victims. The event drew Foundation attention and 310 was recovered without incident due to precautions taken by Agent T. Blank based on existing evidence. A further investigation of the site revealed that it was being used as a data expunged. The involvement of that organization may go some way to explaining why 310 was located where it was, what it had been used for, and how it started the blaze that led to its recovery by the Foundation. However, the question of 310's origin is still open. I just think of like the GOC or whatever, any of those other organizations. Appliance, fire, safe, self-repairing. Well, there it is. Reading more of the SCP Foundation Wiki. Hey, thanks for enjoying this reading the wiki. I hope you enjoyed the read-through, the read-along. As always, homies, I hope it was fun for you. And I'll catch you in the next one. Farewell for now. Peace out.